thank you very much for inviting me here today. And I congratulate all of the partners involved in this very fantastic forum, Fashion Summit, on the theme of sustainability. It is so good that it's on the agenda, and it's been running now. This is the 4th year. Okay, so responsible design and consumption is the topic I would like to share with you. And probably to give you some insights into my background is that I was a designer myself for 20 years, starting in 1973. And I actually attended one of the first Hong Kong Fashion Weeks in 1977. So I have seen a few cycles of the rag trade and the fashion industry over those years. And I also have empathy for all of the designers who start, grow and develop their businesses, and hence why after 20 years, when I closed my business, I started not-for-profit small business support organisations, and I've started two. One of them is a focus on the textile clothing footwear industry called TCF Global, Australia and WA. So over the years, I've assisted over 7,000 designers, and I specialise in helping in virtual fashion incubation. So we do it online. I'm based in Western Australia, one of the second most isolated cities in the world. So hence why it's online, because some people would travel 13 hours in a car to come to one little workshop that I would run. So online fashion virtual incubation. So we support with small business, training, mentoring, and I have designers here showing at centre stage, and we do all sorts of stuff to make their survival and get over the hurdles to survive in this industry. So I create projects. Anybody here can join, big firms to small firms, anyone, and single operators can get involved in our not-for-profit organisation. Been going 21 years. Okay, so I also ran the International Fashion Incubator Conference in Perth in 2011, and the need for virtual fashion incubators around the world is vital to help small designers grow and develop. But everybody in not-for-profit organisations faces the same issues, and it's great to hear what CNA are doing, but at the smaller end of the scale where I operate, they really struggle to keep a not-for-profit association going that in turn helps many designers. But we've been talking and I've been running sessions on fashion sustainability for over 10 years now. Okay, 10 years have we been going down this track. Now, I'm also very passionate, and I give workshops, or I give forums in New York every year. This is 6 years now I've been doing this, during the Commission for the Status of Women, United Nations, in March every year, on economic empowerment of women through creative and TCF fashion businesses. And this year it was on the Sustainable Development Goals and how women can drive these goals. Now, as we've heard, you heard yesterday, the goals, every member state of the UN signed up to these goals in 2015 to meet the goals in 2030, because the previous goals, the Millennium Development Goals, did not meet their targets. If we're talking about these 17 goals, and we're talking about you, and I'm saying that the buck stops with you. You as a designer, you as a manufacturer, and you as a consumer. Okay, so your family, your business, and your community where you're located can play their part. Only if you're buying one item or making one item, you play a part. Now, how do you play a part in these 17 goals? Water usage is SDG number 6, clean water and sanitation. Insecticides is SDG number 13, which is used in cotton production, maybe not as much now with the focus on organic cotton, but in previous years, 25% of the world's insecticides, it's a quarter, was used in cotton production. So that's SDG 13. Chemical use in textiles, SDG 13. Apparel labelling would cross over SDG 8 and 10, which is good jobs and economic growth and reduced inequalities. Ethical fashion and accreditation, SDG 8. Fast and slow fashion, SDG 12, which is responsible consumption. The apparel disposal, SDG 12 and 13. The stats are every adult consumer in the US and the UK dispose of something like 34 pounds of apparel per year, per person. That is unbelievable waste going to landfill. So the circular supply chains is all of the SDGs. Now, those that don't have that slide, you can get it very easily find it online, or you can email me, and I'm more than happy to share this presentation, because you can play your part. These are the 17 goals that every member state, which that's what you're called if you join when you belong to the UN, you're a member state as a country, has signed to these. But the consumer is not aware. Businesses are not becoming aware. But you need to fly the flag. You can play your part in this. So these are the areas that I just very quickly outline where you, as being part of the rag trade, can play your part, because unless we work towards a more sustainable circular economy, reuse all that we use, we will not be here, as our wonderful opening speaker, Professor, shared with you. The clock is ticking, the time is now. The consumer has not been aware that we, you, I, have operated in the second most polluting industry in the world. Okay? They are now aware, the penny has dropped about plastic in the ocean, because nobody wants to eat fish that's got plastic inside the fish. So the people now are rallying against plastic. But the penny hasn't dropped about how polluting the apparel, the textile, clothing, footwear industry has been. So you need to realise that the buck stops with you. In sustainability, is not only the economy, but it also the society and the environment. So sustainability is multifaceted, okay, and it can have many meanings to different people. So it's not only the environment, but it's the ethical issue, the social justice issue, the fair trade issue, and the economic fairness. And you quite often hear of the living wage, which is one of the things that when I've given forums in New York, there's protests about the payment of workers, women workers in Cambodia, that they're not getting a living wage. These are the things, because I'm talking from a designer's point of view, responsible design, that you need to call out, because when you design a product, you have the choice to make decisions. Okay, so transparent supply chains, eco audits, accreditation, certification. This sounds simple, but very difficult to solve, and very, very difficult for small designers. I've been helping small designers for 20 years who are passionate about this topic. They create product, it's fantastic, but the consumer does not make a decision with their wallet. They go for the fast fashion selection. They say with their mouth they like this and they want to support it, but they buy something else on price. But now the clock is ticking. So let's look at this little slide here. 5,000 pints of water to make one t-shirt, but 5,000 children a day die through the lack of clean drinking water. Okay, just a simple thing. But this is an old slide. This is like 12 years this slide, right? But has it changed people's perception? They want to have a sale. First thing they do is go out and print 500 T-shirts or a protest 500 T-shirts and then dump them in the landfill. But that's the statistic of water. So TCF Australia is another not-for-profit project that I run. And I started online energy efficiency training and mentoring 7-8 years ago now. Because energy efficiency is just not the water, it's the whole circular supply chain. So if we look at the energy efficiency, energy is also part of what you need to solve in your business and your household and your community. Because upstream and downstream, 80%, the facts are, upstream, can you make a difference as a designer of your energy usage by the whole selection of choices that you make? Do you have a metallic swing ticket, for instance? Metallic swing tickets are very difficult to break down into landfill because of the metal component in the print. You have to look at everything, the packaging, not only what is in the textile. Okay, so your carbon footprint. So those statistics here are research clear statistics that any retailer can save, any business can save 25 to 40% in energy use by understanding basic principles. And we provide all of this online at no cost. Handouts, webinars for you to understand how you can reduce energy use in your business. So I go back for your focus on how you can reduce upstream and downstream energy consumption in your business with those simple points. I could give you 110 points, 1,000 points, but here's some basic things. Because, example, paralabeling. If you label your products cold water wash, that makes a huge difference in the energy use. But also, are you looking at the fibres if you're washing garments, of influencing the filters in washing machines, because all those microfibers are going down the drain into the water. This little exercise of reusing, recycling is a firm in Turkey, De Facto, that spoke at my Women Economic Forum I ran in Perth last month. They give all their excess offcuts of fabrics to students to make bags from, and then those bags are sold through their stores, and they've got 500 stores in 30 countries, to raise funds for children with cancer. Then they have a women's project, Happy Women's Movement, where they reuse textiles. But this is a great project, Days for Girls, which is another one of my network, that reuses cotton for sanitary kits throughout the world in developing countries, because girls not missing school or women missing work in developing countries through the lack of sanitary products is equivalent to 2 months a year. That's where they miss out on education or their income. So simply by having reusable sanitary products made by volunteer groups or sewing groups throughout the world through donated textiles. I'm a baby boomer. Anyone else in this room who is a baby boomer was brought up by parents who went through the Depression or went through the Second World War. And these are the sorts of things that they grew up with. Make do and mend, save waste paper, use it up. Now, all those things happened because of need and demand. The Depression and the war, the resources were not there. But that is the mindset that your grandparents, most likely, all grew up with. And that was crisis. Our opening speaker said to you, we are hitting a crisis. So look at those things. Think about what your grandparents did, because we are actually a cycle again, coming back to this. Okay, so make do, make it up. These are designers can make the difference. Designers make the choice when they put a product together. They can influence millions. Designers have the power. You have the power in your hands to influence your next range, to create a circular supply chain. Major trend in retail now is to resale pre-worn fashion of that own retailer. Trends to consider and reconsider. Remember that the rag trade, fashion is a cycle. Go back through history. I just showed you 1930, 1940. It's a cycle. Go back through history to find where your competitive advantage is. And that is smart fibres and intelligent textiles. You've got very lucky here in Hong Kong with Rita. But artisan, creativity, innovation. The world is after product with a story to tell. If you want to survive and make a difference, look at all this unique technology and how you can make new product. And then also the world is after product that makes a difference in women's empowerment, because the UN and the world has now realised that by empowering women, economic empowerment of women makes a difference to the health and education of their family. And that's my passion, and that's why we help many in developing countries. So TCF, Textile, Clothing, Footwear, and social enterprises in developing countries. Have you got a story to tell by looking for a country? If you don't have a country, I can connect you with whether it's Uganda or whether it's the Philippines. I can connect you with social enterprises, and then you can create a product with a story to tell. So remember the global goals. You can contact me if you would like to get that slide or the information. And I'll just leave you with, do not follow where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Carol, for the inspiring sharing. Please be seated. Thank you.